When you want something and you're frustrated because it's still unfulfilled, you don't see any evidence of it, you haven't seen any evidence of it for this amount of time. And so you feel discouraged about your desire instead of feeling a little hopeful or even knowing that the law of attraction, regardless of what you can see right now, is still real, is still running rampant, and your desire is inevitable because it is a vibrational reality. So instead of telling yourself the basic laws that you understand, you're feeling more frustrated. So that your balance of thought is more leaning towards, what am I doing wrong? What's going on? This is not how it's supposed to be. So you're feeling more frustrated. Even you're feeling angry. And regardless of how you're feeling, you're just not feeling good about your desire. And so you're not feeling good about your desire because of the resistance that you introduce into the equation. And the only the resistance that you're introducing is because you can't see it. And since you can't see it right now, and since you need to see it right now, and the tuning to the emotional version, finding the version of it right now that you do have access to in the vortex, just isn't enough because you've been doing that for so long and you're still not seeing it. So when you're just frustrated in that sort of way, then you do the thing that really is so impossible that many creators try to do, which is you try to let go of the desire. You try to tell yourself, okay, this is something that I just can't have, so let me get rid of it. Let me just stop thinking about it. Let me, do something else in the meantime. And while that isn't a bad sort of approach, doing something different in the meantime, that subject is still where you last left it. So there is that resistance, and what we're saying is that subject is going to get bigger, that desire is going to get bigger, because life is going to continue to make you want it. You're going to continue to want that. But the thing is, if you're not up to speed with that energy, then it's going to hurt you, and that's what negative emotion is. You see, when you feel negative emotion, when it's something that you don't really care about, then the negative emotion that you feel is proportionate to how much you want it. So there's not that much power because you haven't asked for it that much, and because you don't care about it that much, then that means that you didn't really ask for it that much. So the negative emotion is just, like, it's okay. Like, it's not that big of a deal. You can still survive. But when there's something that you really want and there's a lot of negative emotion, that means that there's a really, really strong momentum. There's strong focus on your desire. And that desire is not only something that, this is the thing is, this desire is not something that is impossible. It's something that is so possible, and you can feel the power of it when you do tune into it. So that's not, you can't forget your desire, and that's never been the approach. You can't forget your desire, but what you can do is get up to speed with it. And then that sort of begs the question, well, the only thing that slows your desire down is resistance. So should I clean resistance up, or should I just continue going on dreaming the dream? And you see, the thing about resistance is that the only time you introduce resistance into the equation usually is because you're so used to, or you're so interested in justifying why you are where you are right now. You want to explain it to someone. You want to come to the conclusion, because even when you want to clean up resistance, you make the resistance bigger. So then what is someone really to do? What's the creator to do? And you have to understand that when you sleep at night, all of your resistance literally subsides. All of your thoughts, all of your beliefs, all the momentum subsides because you're not offering a vibration, right? And so when you tune back into your human consciousness self, aka when you wake up, then you really do have a fresh start. And that really is the whole point of cleaning up resistance, is understanding that when you literally sleep, that's why you came into a time and space where there's sleep. When you sleep, all of your resistance sleeps. So when you wake up again, when you have a fresh start, when you're there in that fresh state of new momentum, you can go in any direction that you want. And so there are some tools that you could do, but truly cleaning up resistance is really the slow way to go about it, because you just don't have that time. Because then it feels like you're just putting out fires all the time, and you get good at that. You get good at having your sea legs. So you're like, I can duel with resistance all the time. Like, I'm good at dealing with resistance, but then it gets boring. It's not fun anymore. And truly, the true fun of what you're looking for is non-resistant thought, is not resistant energy. And that dream, there's something about that daydream that is non-resistant in nature, because there's nothing for you to do about it. So since there's nothing for you to do about it, because you're just seeing it in your mind right now as a sort of a vision, right? Because the daydream, what the daydream is you receiving from the vortex, the sort of ingredients of the vortex that are coming together in the form of an image in your mind. So you're in the receiving mode, right? So as you catch a whiff of that sort of image being broadcasted from your inner being in the vortex, as you're enjoying the image, then what happens is you're in the vortex, and you didn't even have to work to get into the vortex. You didn't have to call up the emotional scale. You didn't have to make yourself feel better so you could get into the vortex. You're just right there in the non-resistant power, and then you feel just how powerful you really are. But the thing is, you usually introduce reality into your daydream, and you usually get realistic, because you dreaming the dream it doesn't feel enough, because maybe it's that you don't really believe that the universe is on your side, because you're used to effort. You're used to offering things in return. So the dream is not pure. The processes that you're doing are not pure, because you understand, if I do something, I can get it. And manifestation, you understand in that sort of action way. all I have to do is offer a vibration of what I want, and then I'll get what I want. So I'm going to use really pretty words. I'm going to even feel good, and I'm actually going to feel pretty good while I do it. But how come the manifestations are just not coming? And we're like, well, that's why, because you're dreaming the dream because of what it will give you, and not the real manifestation, which is emotion. You see, you need to dream the dream because of how it makes you feel. Because when it makes you feel like that, then there's so much momentum, and you can feel the momentum. But the thing is, while you're on that sort of brink of the feeling, it really is the emotion that's going to carry you to what you want. It's not the I'm gonna do because I feel really good, I'm gonna continue doing it. Because when you think of it in that sort of ulterior motive way, in that sort of like sneaky, I'm gonna trick the law of attraction, it never works out. It never works out. You have to dream the dream because of how it makes you feel. And truly, that's what you were doing when you were kids. You were dreaming the dream because of how it made you feel, because there was no resistance in it. Because you didn't understand cleaning up resistance. You didn't even understand observing reality, because you're like, this reality sucks. Why am I going to spend here? Because you understood as a young person that, hey, the real manifestation is how I feel. Because all of your desires exist for the journey that you will be experiencing on your way to them. And that really is what your life is all about. You see, we're not teaching you to control conditions. We're not even teaching you how to control reality, because when you try to control a reality, then you give up your power. Because usually when you're trying to control a reality, you're trying to control it so that it's rid of the things that you don't want. So you're pushing against what you don't want. And that's why you do processes. That's why you're dreaming the dream, because you're like, I really don't want any of this stuff. So since I don't want this stuff, let me hurry this manifestation along, right? Because you think, okay, the formula is just, don't doubt it. So I can do action things. I can, do affirmations. I can script. I can go general on it. I can think about it and think about why I want it. So there are things that I can do. And since I feel good, then I'm almost there. So I feel just how close I am because I feel good. And so it feels like I'm almost there, but I just can't get over there. And that makes you feel discord. And then you're like, okay, so I must work hard. So let me give up on the desire. And then we're like, but you can't really give up on the desire. So the real question is, because your life is going to be made of desires, right? All along the way. So you want to make your journeys serve you. You want to enjoy yourself just the way that you would enjoy a vacation. You want to have fun now where you stand. And that doesn't mean just, be in a state of meditation. That doesn't even mean don't forget about all your desires because you're going to mess it all up. It means understand, right? It means understand that there is a vortex, and it really is there. But the thing is, you're never going to be completely rid of resistance. So then cleaning up resistance isn't the best. Well, it's a good sort of plan, but it's not the best in the way that a masterful creator like you can do. Because a masterful creator like you understands that there will always be resistance, because there will always be new that you're not vibrationally ready for, and that causes resistance. So now you're not beating yourself up for resistance. You're welcoming the resistance. You're making peace with it. You're understanding, hey, I'm an eternal creator. There's always going to be something that I want that I'm not up to speed with, but getting up to speed with it will be so fun. And getting up to speed with everything is actually so easy, because I don't need to have the manifestation in order to be up to speed. I can just think about it because it makes me feel good, and because I'm feeling good, then I'm up to speed. And I can even stay off that subject and think about subjects that are easier. And since they're easy to think about, I feel good about them. And then because you know what it is, it's like everything that you want is really in the vortex. It's there, and your inner being is there with you, and you are your inner being. And so what that really means is you just need your connection, because once you're connected, then everything will start to flow. Then the things that you've been wanting for a while, they have to start flowing in. And so many people are like, okay, so like, should I release resistance so I can get into the vortex and clean up the resistance on all these subjects so I can get into the vortex on all these subjects? And we're like, you could, but because you know why you can't always be in meditation, because meditation really is the best way, because you quiet all of your thoughts. So then it's not really about always being in meditation, because then if it was always being about meditation, then you wouldn't have physical desires. And there really is nothing more spiritual than your desires, because they're coming from source energy. And every time you want something, it really is already complete. So really what it is understanding that, okay, everything I want's in the vortex, and there's all this resistance, and every time I even try to clean up resistance, it just becomes more. So instead of trying to clean everything up, I'm gonna just accept that it's all part of the process, and I'm gonna make peace with all of that. I'm gonna say, you know what, I messed it all up, but who really cares? Because my inner being doesn't. My inner being doesn't hold me against it. So why should I blame myself? Why should I, bother myself about it? I should be like, there's a resistance. I didn't know any better. It is what it is. I have eyes. I can't help but notice that I'm not where I want to be. So there's resistance. So instead of me trying to battle all the resistance one by one and chip away at it, like peeling away of it at it like literally layers of an onion, instead of doing that, I'm gonna just go into the vortex on any subject that I can, or I'll daydream. Because either or, you're in that place of non-resistance. You're in that place where the resistance is not what you're a match to, because that's not what the law of attraction is giving you, right? But the thing is, you will still experience contrast. And so really what we're talking about here is you in the rest of your life. We're talking about you understanding that what you really want is a really fast moving stream, because the fast moving stream is already there. And anytime you try to diminish it because you're like, oh, like there are things I've been wanting, and since I'm not in alignment with them, then I'm gonna just not think about this, because it hurts. It really hurts to think about something that I want and be, come to face with the fact that, hey, I don't believe in it, the resistance, then it hurts. Then I feel like a failure. And we're like, but you shouldn't feel like a failure, because there's always gonna be something, there's always gonna be a desire that feels like that I feels like, oh, like I have to talk myself into it, because your work is never done as a creator. All in all, what we're saying is life is gonna make you ask for things, and those things at first are gonna feel a little uncomfortable. And your work then isn't to release a dream, because the dream is like the seed. Once the dream is a seed that, as you continue to focus on, it will come into formation. But the reason why it's hard to sort of believe that the dream will do all the work is because you're used to doing work, and the dream doesn't feel enough, because satisfaction right now isn't enough. You need the whole thing. But we're saying if satisfaction right now can be enough, if the feeling of the dream can be enough for now, then you really have the master your full creation, because it's a vibrational formula. It's not a physical formula. You can't do the same things, right? On every process for every desire won't work, because every desire has different levels of resistance, and you're in a different place at all the time. So really, it's understanding that it's a vibrational formula. It's understanding that it's all about feeling good. And if you can dream the dream and feel good, then that's success. Then you have that going for yourself. Then if you continue to dream the dream because of the way that it makes you feel, and usually that you like doing that, you like to think about things, you like to think about what you want, you like to think about what you're really interested in, you like to do that because you understand deep down that, hey, I can have whatever I want, and I can be fanciful in my thoughts, and the universe will have to supply it, because the universe can do that. Right? So dream the dream because it feels good, That's such a key, because you're used to dreaming the dream to make it happen, right? And then you're like, okay, I feel positive emotion, so let me keep doing this, because then it will come. But then it still feels far away. It still feels like something that's not logical next step. But the thing is, when you're dreaming the dream because of how it makes you feel, then it does feel logical. Then it feels like you're just like literally blasting through a portal where there's so much alignment, where every subject is just popping in your mind. That really is a speed, that aliveness that you're really looking for. You can't give up on your desires. So what can you give up on trying? Well, you can give up on trying to be perfect. You can give up on trying to, always be in the vortex. There's always gonna be contrast, and there's always gonna be something else to want. But the thing is, you can dream the dream, and the dream right now can be enough. You can't do anything about it right now. But the thing is, you don't need to do anything about it, because it's already been done. It's already been created for you. So your work is to just enjoy the dream. And enjoying the dream is not that the dream will take you there, is that while you focus on the daydream of it, so the images in your mind, it's actually the emotion, because you're using the images to conjure the emotion, but the emotion is going to take you all the way there. And that really is the best way to understand it. The emotions will take you all the way there. So if you're feeling good, then the thing is, if you're feeling good, then keep doing what you're doing, because that means that you're on the right path. But the thing is, if you're like, well, I don't see anything yet, then we're like, it's either you're taking score too soon, or it's either you're doing the process for the work. Because the thing is, if you're dreaming the dream because of how it makes you feel, then the fact that it's not here right now, it doesn't really bother you, because you're like, okay, I can just go right back into the dream. I can still dream it the way that I want it to be, because you're not so in that sort of state of, okay, where is it? You're not looking, you're taking score. You're not looking to assess your skills as a creator. You're like, I'm just here to have fun. I'm having a good time with the dream. So you know what it is? You're actually keeping up with all of your desires. You're staying up to speed with who you really are, because you can't go back on who you really are. You've created this vortex, and it's time for you to enjoy the vortex. It's time for you to really live the life that you came here to live, which is everything that I want already exists. So now I'm gonna go and have fun, and me having fun and me feeling good, whether that's through daydreaming, whether that's deliberately getting into the vortex, whether that's even cleaning up resistance sometimes, whatever the case is, as long as you're feeling good, you're doing the right work.